makes anyone feel better.
Well,
it takes the moral high ground to do that.
The man, as I say, has been convicted.
We're as bad as everybody else if Britain does that.
The man.
What about showing some mercy?
I feel very compassionate about the individual, but he has been convicted in a court.
Not compassionate enough to want him to go home, though.
Well, he is home, isn't he? My wishes, and I wrote to the Scottish Justice Secretary asking him not to release him. But
I'm asking what benefit holding him for those final hours, final days of his life would have been to the British society, or indeed any other society.
I tell you what it would do. It would say very publicly to Colonel Gaddafi that if you want genuine partnership, if you want to move ahead, if you really want to come in from the cold, despite all of these problems that we've had.
Yeah, but you'd use a human being as a hostage to make that point, a man who is close to death.
I would want...
Mercy doesn't come into this, does it, as far as you're concerned?
I would not be happy releasing him whilst, and don't forget, I've met the parents of PC Yvonne Fletcher, who have for 25 years have... Can you imagine your daughter being killed and not knowing who the killer is for 25
Daniel Kawczynski,
years?
separate case, isn't it?
No, I think they're very intertwined.
All right, thank you very much indeed. And now let me please ask Dr. Mustafa Fetouri to speak against the motion.
Thank you. I believe the motion should not pass, and Mr. Maghri should have been released actually a long time ago, but I'm just summarizing. One is that the Scottish Justice Minister, Mr. Kenny McCaskill, was a courageous man, and he believed in the rule of law, and the law that has a compassionate side to it. That's why he made the right decision to release Mr. Abdel Bassem Maghri, who was terminally ill. Two, the UK victims' families, some of whom are represented by my partner here, Dr. Jim Swire, do believe, are not actually satisfied with the outcome of the court itself and the verdict, the final verdict. And waiting for the second appeal could have taken quite a long time. We are facing a situation where the man could die before any decision has been made. Three, we have to understand that the Scottish justice system, this is in response to the noise that happened after his release, especially in the United States, that the Scottish justice system has a very important and integral part of it, which gives the room for the compassionate release of convicts. And that's what's exactly what happened. Four, there is very growing informed public opinion, a professional public opinion, that is, which include lawyers, judges, and so on and so forth, about the whole case itself, that Mr. Maghri was actually framed, and Libya along with him, and there is no case to answer for Mr. Maghri at all. The whole conviction was circumstantial. Finally, this is a man who spent about 8 years of his life in the jail for a crime that's very much not just suspected, but actually he never took part of it. Thank you very much, Tim.
Dr. Fetouri, thank you very much indeed. No case to answer. He wasn't convicted in a kangaroo court. He was convicted by 3 eminent Scottish judges, and he had his appeal turned down by a further 5 Scottish judges. Indeed. So the fact that he had no case to answer, indeed, even the Scottish Criminal Review Board hasn't said that he has no case to answer.
Indeed, with all due respect to the Scottish justice system, indeed, he was convicted, but mainly on 2 grounds. One, very circumstantial evidence against him. The other 2, the prosecutor just hidden the information, most of the evidence.
And the Scottish Criminal Review Board said that there were inconsistencies and inaccuracies throughout his evidence. He told a different story before his trial and told a different story to the Commission after it. So what innocent man isn't able to get his story straight in front of a court and in front of a commission that's actually reviewing it? Doesn't seem like a great advert for innocence.
First of all, we know from the court proceedings that Maghri never took the stand to testify in his own case. That's a fact. The other thing is that he
gave pre-trial answers and he gave post-trial answers. Dr. Fetouri, you know this.
Let me
you
finish,
know this
please.
for a fact.
The same judges who did convict him in the first court in Camp Zeist in Holland, they were, well, the presiding judge somehow changed his mind later on, and then the commission that overlooks the justice system inside the country itself, inside Scotland, came back and decided
Dr. Fetouri,
came back and decided to accept as a deal.
Rather than, no, excuse me, you're going on a very long time here, but I will just make one point, which is that your country accepted responsibility for this. I'll tell you exactly what they said in a statement. In 2003, they said Libya, as a sovereign state, has facilitated the bringing to justice of the 2 suspects charged with the bombing of Pan Am 103 and accepts responsibility for the actions of its officials.
Not for the state.
That's exactly what they said. In the same sentence, Pan Am 103 and accepting responsibility.
But not the
you even pay compensation.
It's not the responsibility of the state. They accepted the responsibility and paid the compensation just because to get this thing out of the way. We have suffered enough. We have been under embargo for more than 7 years.